Joining me now is the Secretary of the Interior, Doug Burgum. Secretary, great to have you. Thanks so much for being here this weekend. And I want to get your take on how the Interior and the Energy departments are planning to bring relief to Americans in the new year.
Well, President Trump has been bringing relief with the policies of this last year. Of course, he talked often about drill, baby, drill, but that was really his way of signaling, hey, we're gonna unleash American energy. We're going to do that in a way where we increase supply. We're going to do that brings prosperity to home, and we're going to bring peace abroad. And of course, the U.S. a year ago we had bans on LNG exports. Now, under President Trump, the United States' largest LNG exporter, knocking Russia out of the European market. This is great for American jobs, and it's actually great for American infrastructure, because when we got international customers buying our fuels, that helps pay for the infrastructure here to be able to deliver it more cheaply for Americans. So fantastic on all the natural gas, the liquid fuels. All that is fantastic. Electricity is a different story, because that's a red state, blue state story, because electricity has really been at the centerpiece of the ideological divide, where we've got the Democrat Party was going down a path of intermittent, unreliable, unsecure energy, highly subsidized through Biden policies. And President Trump is all about affordable, about reliable, and about secure sources of energy.
But in the race for AI, massive data centers are needed, demanding huge amounts of land, power, and water. Some of those projects are now being considered on federal lands, but communities, conservation groups, even some lawmakers, Republican lawmakers even, are pushing back over added costs on the local level. I know that the president has also been stressing deregulation, and he's done a lot of executive orders about that in terms of permitting. Will we be able to see the permitting laws get codified so that actually they sustain beyond President Trump's term?
The House Representatives passed the SPEED Act, which is about permitting economic development reform. That codifies a bunch of things that we've been doing this past year under emergency rules that President Trump declared an energy emergency on day one. And we've been able to have just incredible breakthroughs, getting environmental assessments done in less than 14 days, environmental impact statements done in less than 28 days. These things took years, and they don't have to take years if you are smart about how you apply business processes to achieve that. But that being codified in this bill, we'll see what the Senate does with it in the new year.
What about that pushback on data centers?
Well, the data centers, it's all about decision making made between the locals. I mean, there are examples, including in my home state, where data center comes in, you get an agreement with the local, electric prices stay the same for the consumers, the local farmers or ranchers, or it can even go down. There's deals that are being cut right now. We're proposing that if somebody wants to come in and build a data center, but they're going to build power generation with it, have some of that be behind the meter, off the grid to run the data center. But when they build the power, build extra so that they can put like an extra 20% back into the grid and help ensure that prices either stay flat or go down for consumers. There is certainly right now the economics. Electricity's never been worth more now. A kilowatt hour has never been worth more now than it ever has been in any time in history. These tech companies that are driving up the stock market have a record amount. The top 5 tech companies in America have almost $400 billion of CapEx they want to spend on power generation, as long, again, with these data centers. And a data center is really a place where we're manufacturing intelligence. Intelligence lifts every sector of the economy, so we want more intelligence, not less. And so localities that are figuring out a way to have intelligence manufactured in their local area and lower prices, those are the folks that are getting it. People that are blocking and stopping these projects from coming in are actually hurting every sector. They're hurting their universities, they're hurting their schools, they're hurting the U.S. national security.
Washington is pushing to expand U.S. energy supply, greenlighting the ConocoPhillips exploratory oil drilling project in Alaska. That strategy is also, however, facing legal pushback. We've got environmental groups suing the Interior Department over the approval of this new oil exploration on the National Petroleum Reserve. Secretary, what are you going to do about this? Give us the backdrop.
Well, just even to hear you saying that, Maria, it is a national petroleum reserve in Alaska. That's what it was set up and designed for.
That is funny. You're right. Oh, God.
They're suing to stop doing development on a national petroleum reserve at a time when all of our allies in the Pacific, Japan, South Korea, the Philippines, Thailand, all of our allies there, Taiwan, they all want energy. They want it from us. They want it from Alaska. It's 8 days between Anchorage and Tokyo for a ship of LNG. It's 24 days from the Middle East. If we're going to have conflict in the Pacific, and we've got 29,000 U.S. troops in South Korea, similar in Japan. Japan's got 120 million people in the size of North and South Dakota, almost zero oil and gas. I mean, we have an enormous opportunity in Alaska to sell energy to our Pacific allies without raising one dime of price down here in the lower 48. I mean, we're so blessed both in the geographic location and the enormous abundant resource. And again, Alaska, I mean, when you've got it up there on the map, Alaska is the size of California plus Arizona plus New Mexico and plus Texas. That red spot you have on the top, that's the size of Indiana, and the amount of territory, the amount of land that's actually needed to do this project that they talk about expanding. We're talking about a few square miles out of the size of Indiana, but then producing enormous amounts of energy. So some of these complaints are not based in reality. They're not based in protecting the environment. They might be trying to protect their own cause or their own whatever. But we know over the last decade, some of these, the folks that were focused on climate catastrophe were actually being funded by dark money from foreign sources, including Russia. Of course, Russia and Iran want the United States to stop producing energy so they can use it to fund wars and fund terrorism.
Wow, that is incredible. Secretary, we're going to be watching all of that, and we so appreciate your leadership. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Maria. Merry Christmas, and grateful for all you do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Merry Christmas to you, and we will catch up with you next year, I guess. Thank you, Secretary Doug Burgum.
See you next year.